Who wants a hug? What's going on, everybody? S.L.B coming at you with another video review, and this time we'll be taking a look at TFC Toys P-006 Thousandkills, which is the final figure in the line of the Poseidon line, and this is TFC Toys' take on Tentakill. But let's get into the packaging really quickly here. Gorgeous artwork. As always, on the front there, you've got your name, P-006, Thousandkills, robot mode, monster mode, weapon mode, and combined. Bottom of the packaging just has your warning right there. Top of the packaging just has your all different modes, your weapon mode, your monster mode, your robot mode, your combined arm mode, your combined leg mode. This side of the packaging, robot mode. This side of the packaging, monster mode. And on the back of the packaging is just your artwork there of Poseidon all combined with some tech specs at the bottom there. So that's it for the packaging. Let's get the figure out of the packaging and see what he looks like in hand. Alright, well, here is Thousandkills out of the packaging, and he's a pretty gnarly looking figure, I'm not gonna lie. All the tentacles are pretty awesome. That face is awesome. But let's get into what's included in the packaging first and foremost. Let's just push him off to the side here. So included in the packaging, you do get your obligatory trading card here, which is that same artwork on the front there. On the back, it just has this tech specs. Would have liked a thicker card stock, but that's TFC for you. What are you going to do? Also included are the instructions here, which are pretty nice. Just your list of parts there. Each tentacle comes separate. It's in a separate baggie, but I took it out already. So, and you just get the final component in the comic book that's included, and your sucktastic instructions here, like always. And then on the very last page there, you get some nice group shots of everybody in their robot mode, in their monster mode, and then a nice group shot of Poseidon all combined there. So yeah, very nice instructions. Also included in the packaging, you do get the weapon handle. That comes with everybody. You do get the foot peg component here, which is really nice. It's nice that every single figure comes with these in case you lose them. So that's really nice of TFC to do that. You do also get his weapons here, which are okay. They're kind of lacking in the paint department, but I do like the pinkish clear plastic up here. It looks really nice. The only other downfall to this is, let's see if we can get this open. Super tight. Super tight. Is the lackluster extended barrel there. Wah, wah. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. But it's just been kind of funny that every single one of them has had like this elongated barrel, and this guy just kind of has a little rinky-dink wah, wah thing right there. But it is what it is. We'll get more into these as we go along there, because there are storage options for these. And also included, you get this blocky block thing here, which has multiple purposes. One of which is you can take the combined weapon handle here, slide it in there in the back, and then make a giant double-barreled blaster there. Right there. You can also use these as weapon stands for the individual weapon modes for the figures. You also can use these as foot extensions in combined mode, but I'll get more into that when we get into combined mode. So there's that. It's very nicely detailed and lots of teeth. Lots of teeth here. So let's get to the main attraction here. Let's bring in Thousandkills, Tentacles, whatever you want to call him. And right off the bat, you're going to notice this giant face. And that face is gorgeous. It's a really nice representation of the G1 figure, and just a, not exaggerated, but a more stylistic view on what this creature would be in monster mode. I mean, it's just gorgeous. I like the clear yellow eyes here. You can kind of see behind it a little bit, which is kind of a shame, but it's very nice because every single figure has to have some kind of clear plastic for some reason in the eyes, so they just give it that. No light piping for the monster mode there. But these teeth are nicely painted silver here, nice and sharp too. I really like it. I like this nice gunmetal gray here. Looks very nice. Cleans up pretty good. Not too back heavy, especially with the tentacles. But he looks really nice. All the tentacles here are nicely done too. Nice molded detail in those as well. And I like the addition of the two different color ones. It just breaks up the monotony a little bit, so you don't get the standard same color thing. It looks really nice. And the feet have some nice yellow paints on the bottom here. It's a little bit of molded detail here. So for articulation here, not a lot of articulation in this area. The face can move up and down to give you like an eating kind of like get my mouth. You kind of get some kind of plastic back here to kind of represent some kind of the back of the mouth, a uvula, if you will. It's very tight to slide up and down, and you might, upon the first few attempts, might break it apart to get the because it's due to transformation purposes. But that's it for the face. For the legs down here, nice ratcheted legs, get you forward about that much. Can only get you back about that much. No, if you want a knee bend, you're gonna have to extend it out. You can get a knee bend there, which is pretty nice. That's mainly for the robot mode arms, but that is nice. Now for the tentacles, I'm gonna put him down here, and each tentacle is articulated the same way, so I'm just gonna go over one of them. You have hinge, hinge, hinge. I mean, these things are super articulate. I mean, it's just amazing how much articulation you can get out of these tentacles and how much character it gives them. I mean, it's just gnarly. And the best part is you can take them out. You can give them different lengths, which is nice. But I mean, it's just the amount of articulation in these tentacles is really nice, and it's really nice that they thought this through. So I do like it very much there. But yep. And like I said earlier, the guns here can store on the monster mode there. You just kind of flip the handles up here. You can keep them together if you want, but actually no, you can't. There's not enough room. But there's a hole here and a peg here. Just slot those in. It's a very tight fit. Be very careful. You do not want to break your toy, but there you go. Now he has missile pods on his back. If that interests you. Me, not so much. But let's get into some comparisons, shall we? Let me just rearrange the camera angle, and then we'll get the entire group shot in here of all of these guys. So be right back. All right, well, here is the one comparison that I think matters the most here. Let's just rearrange them somehow here to get a little bit more cohesive. There we go. I think that's better. But what a great looking team these guys are. I mean, the aesthetic is there. The look of these guys as giant monsters is great. Sea creatures are great. The color scheme fits perfectly. It definitely cleanses the palette and definitely gives a nice homage to the G1 toys. I think this team looks really good. Almost as good as the Transformation Stunticons, but that's just my opinion. So let's get into this guy here. Let's get him into, we're going to do leg mode, we're going to do weapon mode, arm mode, and then robot mode. I'm not going to go into any comparisons with those modes. I'm just going to show them off just to see what you guys think of them, show them what you look like. But let's get into those modes, shall we? Alright, well here we have Thousandkills in his leg mode. And I took the liberty, this is something they recommend in the instructions, and I also did this myself, but they tell you to take the tentacles off when transforming him. It just makes life a little bit easier. And they also tell you when you're going to leg mode and into weapon mode, arm mode, to remove 2 bits, which I did. And here he is in his leg mode, and he looks okay. I'm not going to put these ones on until the end. until I get into the mode that I think he works best in. But it's a pretty decent leg mode. I mean, it's very, yes, I know I'm missing a piece right here. I've talked to the person that sold it to me. We worked out an agreement, so there is that. But it's okay. The transformation is a little finicky because there are things that tap together really well, and there are things that tap together not so well. Like the tentacle bits here can pop off at an instant. These, what become his robot mode feet, will pop off. For some strange reason, one of them fits better than the other one. Maybe it's just my figure. I don't know. When you extend them like you do with all these figures, the bottom portion, will become his robot legs, tend to extend as well. So you got to finagle those and get those right. But it is what it is, and things just have to line up just right in order for it to work. And it kind of stinks that, to me this doesn't work in leg mode. It's not my favorite of the modes, but this is what it looks like in leg mode. Articulation, I'll get into that when we get into combined mode. So let's just get into the next mode, shall we? Alright, before we get into weapon mode, I wanted to show off what this can also do. I showed you put the the handle bit right here. It can become a weapon, a double barrel gun, but this also serves another purpose, and it's also a lot better than this thing. It can become a weapon stand as well. So just to do that, you just pop these sides off here, and that's the only thing holding these two together is just these bits right here, which are the knee components for combined mode, which I'll show you when I get into combined mode. But let's just take one of these here, flip these little clear plastic pieces up, take these, fold them back like so, and then those just tab in really securely like there. You can take these bits, fold them out like that. The other section, you're going to raise this section up and put those up, and then if I do this correctly, yes, like this, these just plug in together right there, and you can take these and angle these however you wish. But that is it for the weapon storage mode. So let's bring in let's get Tentacle in here and show you what Tentacle looks like in weapon mode. So here is Thousandkill, Tentacle, whatever you want to call him, in his weapon mode. And I brought this out here. I showed you how to transform this, and I brought this here because I want to show you what a difference this makes. You'll notice how much he's leaning forward there, and in this bit right here, because a lot of it is not very secure. So we just pop this off, and we separate these, and then we take it and completely engulf it in there, and that does a lot better job of keeping him stable and up, because a lot of the handles in here, whereas in this one, yeah, it is what it is, people. Let's get this off to the side, and let's go into the weapon mode here. And let's just say right off the bat, it kind of works and it kind of doesn't. The reason why I don't have the tentacles on here, again, because this is not my preference for whatever mode I'm going to keep him in when I keep him in combined mode. And it does look okay. It just doesn't flow very well, because you've got these kind of tentacle bits up here, and even if you were to connect the rest of them up here and bring them around, however, there's still some section here that doesn't really flow with it. He does look somewhat decent. He's very, very front heavy in this section here. If only there was something you could plug in back here to kind of even out the weight a little bit, or if they were to push the, I don't know, have another peg up here. But this has just been a problem with every single limbs in this line, is that they become very front heavy. And that's just because there's a lot going on in the front here. But that's just my opinion. Let's get him into arm mode and see what he looks like in arm mode. And here's the big reveal, the mode I will be keeping him in when I keep him in combined mode, and it is the arm mode. And I think this looks great as an arm, for the simple fact that when he's going to be in combined mode, that he's got this giant, almost melee weapon on his shoulder, and you can articulate these however you want. You can lengthen them however you want. I think that works great in arm mode. That is my preference, but I think this looks the best out of all of the modes for him, not including robot mode. Between leg mode, between weapon mode, between arm mode, this works the best. And it's just for the simple fact that it's just like it adds to the character. So there is that in weapon mode. Again, articulation, everything I'll go over when I go into combined mode, but there is that. So let's get him lastly into his robot mode and get this video going. Alright, here is Thousandkills in his robot mode. He looks pretty good in robot mode. I will say there are issues with joints in this. But let's go into the detail here. Let's get a look at that face sculpt. It's a very angry face, if I do say so myself. Nice light piping in the back there. And that chest is just gorgeous. All of these limbs have had very nice chest bits. The chest is really nicely done. Each different than the other. He is no exception. He's got these nice silver paint on the side here. This nice aqua blue blends really well with the maroon there, and I think it looks really good. This is kind of yucky, and the feet clean up pretty well. There's a lot of issues with the heels and the feet, but I'll get into that when I get into articulation. So speaking of articulation, let's get into articulation. Oh, wait, before I get into articulation, let me just, right off the bat, when you're going into robot mode, I do recommend you do what the instructions say and remove 2 of the section pieces from each tentacle here, because it makes them very less backpack heavy. As you can see, I have them leaning forward here, but the backpack doesn't really peg in anywhere. It's just kind of hanging, and the hips are kind of a soft ratchet, so over time this could bow back and forth, so just be cautious of that. Okay, articulation wise, the head is on a ball joint, can do a full 360 there. The arms, once we get the tentacles out of the way, can do a full 360. Can go out pretty far, in my opinion, right there. There is a bicep swivel right here. And you do get a double jointed elbow, but this kind of piece hinders the completion of that double joint elbow, but it is what it is. And the wrists can swivel. Very tight wrist swivel there. He does have a waist swivel, which is nice. The backpack doesn't kind of hinder that. The hips can go out. This ratchet's very tight. This one, kind of. It's kind of tight. But I can go that far forward. If you get the tentacles out of the way, you can go that far back. There is a thigh swivel up here, which is really loose, which is kind of sad. When you do the knee bend here, be careful, because one joint is tighter than the other. You can't get your finger back there to get the proper knee bend. You can only get it so far, but it can go 90 degrees. It's just when you're getting it back, just be mindful of which one is bent and which one's not. So the ankles here are on a ball joint, but since this bit of plastic right here is here, it kind of hinders your mobility of it. And the heel here doesn't peg in back here, so when you go to mess around with it, it will come undone and everything. It's just not a very tight, secure fit, but there is some articulation in the feet and ankle and the foot supports back here. So that is that for articulation. And he can hold his weapons very well. It's a very solid fit. It's not gonna fall off, so he looks pretty cool holding his weapon there. So let's just get into some comparisons here. Let's bring out the rest of the Seacons. Here's Mentarazer here. Let's see if he'll stand up. He should. There we go. Here's Cyberjaw and all of his wonkiness. Big Bite. Let's kind of get these guys closer together. Deathclaw right here. And finally the big guy, Iron Shell. Let's bring him in the back here just to show you. And we bring the camera back here. Let's raise it up a little bit. And I think this team looks great together. I think this team looks great. It looks very cool, in my opinion. So let's just get the camera back situated properly and get these guys out of the way. I mean, that's pretty much the only comparison that you guys need. I think the team looks great. I think it turned out pretty well. Minor issues aside, I think the team looks really good, in my opinion. I'll get into some final thoughts of the whole team when I get into combined mode. So let's get into some final thoughts of Thousandkills here. He suffers from really loose joints in some areas. He's still a pretty solid figure. I love the fact that the tentacles are completely articulated. You can get him in so many, different poses. It makes it very dynamic. I think where he stands out the most is that arm mode, just because of the fact that the tentacles can come off and it just looks gnarly in arm mode. The weapon mode, not so much. The leg mode, meh. Robot mode looks great. Monster mode looks great. QC issues aside, joint issues, tolerances aside, I think he's a pretty dead solid figure. I like him. I recommend you get him. If you like this video, leave a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section down below there. Hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. If you want to throw some money my way, here's a PayPal link in the description down below. This is S.L.B. This is my review of TFC Toys P-006 Thousandkills. And this is S.L.B. saying, my childhood hates me.